Look at these guys. They don't look like much, do they? But you didn't see them where I saw them.
And right now, tonight, we're going to take off. We're going to fight this fucking cowardly, evil enemy. Alright, to use fear and intimidation, alright, to achieve his objectives. That's alright. You can do that. Because we're going to match him with speed, violence of action, and superior firepower to meet our objectives.
I'm leaving on a jet plane.
You all give them the steely eye, keep an eye out on them. There's a lot of Iraqis that want to be able to live like you all live. Those people are the ones you treat with kindness and friendship. Always keep in the back of your mind a good eye on them. The others, the ones that's going to cause trouble, your job is to eliminate them. And that's a harsh thing at times. It's that we talk it up a lot, make a lot of hoorah speeches about it, but it's going to be a hard thing. But I know you're up to the task. We do it so that the rest of America doesn't have to see it.
This is a story of Iraq you won't see on the evening news. I went to Iraq in the spring of 2005 with my old Marine Corps unit. I'd been out of the Marines for 6 years, but I knew if I didn't go, their story wouldn't be told. Our first contact with the enemy came on the second mission, when Al-Qaeda in Iraq attacked the prison at Abu Ghraib.
The one time I actually thought it was it. But we start rolling out of the gate, you know, artillery was going off the whole time. We were staging to go, and the whole time we were rolling off. And, you know, we had no clue what was going on. We come to find out that, I don't know, suicide squad, or like, probably about a platoon-sized element, was trying to overrun the prison, probably about 50, 60 guys. They ambushed the prison, and then they also set up a real clever ambush because they knew Marines were going to be responding, quick reaction force. They ended up ambushing them when they were on their way in to respond to the threat. They took a double-sided ambush from both sides of the MSR with RPG and RPK fire. So we were coming into the midst of all that.
All right, the recourse is off to the right. About our 1 o'clock, we've taken some RPG fire. Up to about our 11 o'clock, they've taken some machine gun fire. Somewhere down the road by a bridge or an overpass, there's a possible IED. There's some Amtracs up there, but not a lot. We're trying to clear the area now.
We figured out where the majority of the contact was coming from, which was a little village right off the MSR, not too far from the prison. And then we did one of our maneuvers that's in our TTPs, flush and kill.
We're going to be the assault element. We're going to get online just like we are now, but over there, all right? And we're going to start sweeping through this whole fucking block of houses. Do not get in front of the Humvees. As we get up to a house, clear a house, come back to the Humvees, we'll move up to the next house.
Hitting every house?
Yes.
Check that building and the building off to the left.
We figured out a building where they think that we possibly took fire from. We started to clear that building. We cleared the whole first deck, and then as we started to make our way to the second deck, the insurgents cut the power to the house. First thing I thought was they were about to blow the house up. That's what I thought. I thought the house was about to get blown up.
McClung is one of the few junior Marines who is married, and the only African-American infantryman in the unit.
She's just like any wife. She's concerned about her husband. She hates it. She hates it with every bone in her body, but she's supportive of me. She understands that that's what my job is and it has to be done. It all started back like when I was getting ready to come in, and my recruiter was asking me. I did pretty good on the ASVAB. So he said, hey, you know, man, any jobs are open to you. I was like, well, I didn't even know what infantry was. I didn't know what that was the name for. I said, hey, man, I want to be that guy with the guns, you know, out there kicking in doors and all that trash. So he was like, infantry? Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, man. You know, you want to do something else, you know. I said, nah, that's what I want to do. I mean, that was the hardest thing that they had available. But as far as like black people being in infantry versus other jobs in the military period, I think they're just smarter than that. And not saying that guys that join the infantry are dumb, but they're looking at to get out of, you know, the inner city is a way they got to have a way to support their family. So they're looking at the military as a way to get the vital skills, the job trades, the skills, the on-the-job training that they need so they can make a life after the military. So I just think that, you know, young African Americans that choose to come in the military are looking at it as a way to build a life after the military. You know what I mean? You really can't put down on a resume, hey dog, I came over here and I know how to shoot people, I know how to kill people. They really ain't good on a resume, you know what I'm saying? It's better to say, hey, you know, I was an aviation mechanic or I was a diesel mechanic. We came out of the house that the power got cut off to, and we moved down the street to a warehouse where the Amtrak had taken fire from. So we were going in and we were going to clear this warehouse. They discovered that it was a bunch of gasoline on the ground. And then when we looked at the wall that we were standing on, that we were near, we saw that it was wired. So they pretty much had one huge IED waiting on us. Oh yeah, this is it right here. You know, they probably looking at us right now, see that we see the, you know, see the trap that they set for us, and I'm thinking they were just gonna blow it at any second. And EOD came out and they blew the whole warehouse up. Cause I ain't done over here yet. I'm not done over here yet. I'm definitely looking into one of the other units in our battalion is slated to come over here next March. And as of right now, I'm one of the Marines that volunteering to come back with those guys. I don't feel that I did as much as I could do over here. I felt we did as much as we could do under the circumstances, but I still feel like it's more that I could do, or it's more that I could have done. If we keeping the bad guys pinned down over here, that's less, or if anything, that happens in the United States. So us being over here is preventing another 9/11. That's how I look at it. And I'd rather me being over here suffering it than something happening in my hometown of Detroit. And my wife, grandparents, aunts, uncles, kids, you know, that I have going through the thing that people in New York had to go through, or that us troops have to go through out here. I'd rather me be over here doing it than them be at home going through it.
We spent the night that night on a highway overpass near the prison. If we had been out the gate, say 15 minutes earlier, we would have been in the thick of the firefight as the insurgents attacked the prison. The next day, we went back to the villages, into the canal country, where the insurgents had fled.
Back to the scene of the crime. We're having all the intel that we've been gathering. The places we've been going have been telling us that Alibaba is in the villages that are behind some of the main roads. So we're going to basically check out these smaller villages that are behind the main MSR. We have intel that basically tells us from that what we've gathered is that's where they're staging some of their ammo, the RPGs, things like that. Reports of nice cars coming down into the southern part or behind the MSRs and making a quick exchange, whether it's money or whatever it is, and then within a 24-hour period, usually there's some sort of an IED or some sort of an ambush. Two of the AAVs got ambushed at this site, and they took RPGs and small arms fire from this area, and they took some small arms fire to the left of us, and they had some IEDs planted in the road. So we got the call, we were the react, and we came in, and basically 4 Humvees and a CAT team took over the show, and we placed everybody where we needed them placed, and we performed a basic flush and kill drill where we started flushing up, trying to clear some of the houses first, make sure they're friendly so we can move on before we got to the site where we thought we got ambushed from. They actually had, they were attacked by about, I want to say 60 insurgents attacked the area around the prison. And they hit it pretty hard. They actually had a vehicle-borne IED that they were able to stop. We know the insurgency is somewhere in this area.
I extended my contract in order to come and be a part of OIF 3 with my section, with my Marines. So I had the option after OIF 1, my contract had expired, but I extended out to come back over one more time. I felt a responsibility to some of the younger Marines that were in my section. I felt that kind of that sense of duty to them. Felt I had a responsibility to try to take some of the experience and knowledge that I've gained with my deployments and come over here and try to help them. I feel that I give them a better chance to accomplish their mission and get them home safely to their parents and their loved ones. I'm married. I have a wife of 12 years. Hopefully I'll be home for my 12th year anniversary on the 9th of October. And I have 3 beautiful daughters, one that's 8, one that's 4, and I have a 6-month-old. I think that I know that they miss their daddy, but I think at the same time they're proud of what he does. I try to put it in little kid terms as far as to help them understand that instead of trying to just all of a sudden daddy's gone. I've been talking to them.
Oh, who's that?
I've kind of used the 9/11 attacks to tie into that as far as bad guys trying to do stuff to us over here, and we're going over there to get rid of the bad guys. And also at the same time, to my daughters, I try to let them know that the bad guys are over here, and we got to go help those kids that live here, protect them from the bad guys as well. So they kind of understand it. My 8-year-old obviously is a little bit more understanding of it. She's a daddy's girl, so I think emotionally she deals with it in a different way, but she's doing good. She's doing good. I'm self-employed. I own a couple of quick service restaurants back in the Kansas City area. They're called Mr. Good Sense Subs and Pastas. It's a quick service type of restaurant.
While Staff Sergeant Tony Ryder is in Iraq, his wife Tracy manages the restaurants.
Hi Manny, it's Tracy Ryder with Mr. Good Sense. How are you? Normally my role when he's here is I'm more of the behind the scenes, doing things at home, making phone calls from home, and rarely, I mean, I'm in the store but rarely here working hourly. Now that he's gone, I get to continue my job at home and that part of the business, and then I'm in the stores. I bounce between both. We have 2 stores, so I bounce between both stores each day. Sometimes in both of them in one day, and sometimes in them more than once in one day.
He actually sat right here in a chair I'm in while he and I talked about his decision to go back to Iraq.
Joe Bazzone is the founder and owner of Mr. Good Sense Franchise Systems.
I think he heard what went through my mind. I have a good relationship with my franchisees, and I was sort of vocal initially. Tony, are you crazy? Why would you go to war? You've been there, you fought for our country.
Well, you know, he got a lot of resistance from our families, his and mine, and a little bit from me. I mean, I kind of know where his heart is, and I know how he feels, and the last thing I want to do is tell him, you're not going, kind of thing. And I mean, he's been a Marine since the day I met him. I mean, so I know that's not going to change overnight.
And I just looked right at him and said, are you nuts? You've got young kids, great family, great business, independent business person, and you're going to go over there and possibly get killed.
I hate to say it, but some of us don't realize that they're getting shot at and that things are happening to them, and we want to live here in La Land, as I call it, Shawnee, Kansas, and think everything's okay and they're doing guard duty or something. I was up one night at midnight. I just clicked on your site thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to see if there's any more videos of any of the guys. And I click on, oh, what's outside the wire? And I didn't know that outside the wire meant outside of Fallujah until I heard you on 980. And I went, oh my gosh, that means they're not at base. That's what that means. And I click on this thing and I'm just sitting there and my eyes are so big. I hear Tony's voice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Tony in the background. He's there. And I'm thinking, people are shooting at them. I said, and they're having to shoot back. And it just really hit home because, I mean, quite honestly, I really thought they weren't, you know, they were just driving their vehicles around.
And he was very, very sincere by saying, no, I'm going over there to do my job for my country and to take care of my guys. That's why I'm going over there. And in my view, I cannot let them go without me. And they're going, I'm going with them.
Well, he wanted to go. He wanted to go. So I wasn't going to hold him back. And I knew that if he didn't go, I think he would have had this guilt for the rest of his life. So I'd rather him go, get it out of his system, and hopefully when he comes back, he's done.
after that, there's not much you can say to an individual. You can just look at them in amazement and sort of go, thank you, Lord, because people like that are true heroes in our community. He's over there fighting while we're over here selling sandwiches.
Hey, anybody over there?
That's what we're doing. Trying to have a little bit of fun today.
Not all missions are really very exciting. Many of them are very boring. Some are only notable for the weather. On one mission, we hit for Iraq's meteorological cycle. It went from 110 to sandstorm to rain, back to 110 degrees. Rain, for some reason, always follows the sandstorm in Iraq, and everything, including the Marines, just turned to mud. Of course, when bad weather hits, the laws of thermodynamics have nothing to do with it. Tired, wet, hungry Marines are more likely to blame it on a piece of candy that comes in an MRE.
Every time someone eats Charms, weather's bad, something bad happens. So
2 days ago, we went through a nasty sandstorm. Yesterday, it kind of drizzled all day. Last night, it rained all night while we were trying to sleep. It's raining again. Just makes this place a mud pit.
it's just bad luck to eat the Charms. Slough wants to eat Charms. That's the reason why it's been raining and sandstorms the past few days.
I ate the original Charm, which created last night's downpour. I tasted the showers.
You tasted the forbidden candy, didn't you?
I told you! Hey, get the face, get the face, get the face!
I tell you not to eat the fucking Charms and piss off the goddamn Charm God.
Eat him again today. Without corrugated today. I'd rather...
No butts. No butts.
Shut up. Shut up. Slough, one more word out of you. I'm going to bury you out there. Say word. Come on.
No, we need to do that streak. We need to fucking tie him up, put him at one of those ant things, let the ants crawl on him for a while.
Don't say anything, Slough. Say a word, Slough. Say a word. Word, Slough. Just say word. Word. Sun God.
God damn it, Slow, you did.
What's the temperature? What's the temperature?
Slough ate the Charms, and I ate them again. Therefore, turning the negative and the negative making it a positive.
No.
Does this look like a fucking positive?
Is it 110?
I'm fucking wet! What'd you do? Tell him. Tell again what you did.
Tell the party Charms. We ate Charms and thought it would be a double negative to...
Who committed the original sin there, Slough?
I ate the original Charm.
Slough ate the Charms? Oh, good to go. I'll tend to Slough later.
No, I do not know what Charms taste like. I've never eaten one myself. Slough, who is getting all the grief for that, he made a PFC mistake. He's a big, tough kid. He did a really good job in Iraq and is back over there again, this time in a leadership role. Another of the youngest Marines was Jared Burney. He graduated from high school in the spring of 2004, goes to boot camp, goes to the School of Infantry. Now he's a reserve Marine, so he's done with the School of Infantry around November of 2004. Goes to his first drill and finds out that he's going to get deployed to Iraq. He turned 19 in Iraq. As is often the case, the guys adapt to Iraq better than the parents do. They're there, they know what's going on, they see what's going on personally, but the parents have no idea. And for operational security purposes, the Marines rarely ever tell the parents exactly what is going on. And so it could be weeks, and it also can be weeks and months or days in between emails with an infantryman. Our unit would go outside the wire for a week, 2 weeks, it'd go out to Smitty for a month at a time. And the family members would never, get an email, never get a phone call, may not even get a letter from their Marines. and it's harder for them than it is from the actual Marines.
Well, we had him home for Thanksgiving and Christmas and got him enrolled in Washburn, everything all set up to go, and he goes for his very first reserve weekend in January, and they tell him he's going. He called me. He called me from the drill weekend and he said, I think I'm going to have to go, but I don't know for sure. And then before he came home, they told him that he was definitely going to have to go. And of course, I did what most mothers probably do. I sat and cried before he got home, because you don't need to do that in front of him. But it just clenched my stomach. I felt like I was going to be ill, scared, absolutely terrified. It was the most helpless feeling I've ever had, because you're totally not in control. And Jared would tell you, I like to be in charge. I like to be in control. And I wasn't. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can say that's going to change anything. I can't even watch the news. I cannot watch the news because it just terrifies me.
Before we came out here, like a couple of days before we came to Iraq, we were told that the survival rate of dismounts is 20%. So that's probably the hardest thing, knowing that that's the survival rate of dismounts.
Oh, it was fun. It was awesome. It's nothing else like it. I mean, the rush of you when you go in the houses, not knowing what to expect, not knowing if there's somebody in there waiting to shoot you. There was a house that we got positive intel that there was an insurgent, a leader in there that we were going to have to take down, and we got in there, and he was in there. He was. We didn't know what kind of condition he was in, if he was expecting us. We didn't know what to expect, so it was kind of scary going in there, knowing that he was in there, not knowing if he knew that we were coming or not.
Jared was a challenge from the time he turned 13. Well, he's always been a challenge. Never did anything the easy way. I didn't think I was going to survive, and I wasn't sure I was going to let him live to see 18, because it was tough. It was one of those, oh, by the way, Mom, I've been talking to a Marine recruiter. And you what? Big shock. Absolute, out of the blue. Who knew? He kept saying, ma'am, we've graduated boys out of this just fine for hundreds of years. Yours will be just fine, too. Like, okay. I hope so, because I was worried about boot camp. I was worried about him, making it through boot camp. The thing that has amazed me the most is when he was going through high school, I said he was a challenge. It was like he was angry at me, at everything, just angry. And once that was the first thing I noticed after he got out of boot camp, is he didn't have to prove himself anymore. He was at peace with himself. He was not angry. He was quieter. He was more composed. It's like, I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I've proved myself to me, and I made it, and I'm a Marine, and that says it all. It was the most amazing change. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I knew people liked us being here, but to have somebody like the leader of a community invite us into their houses and feed us food, give us tea, sit and talk with us, it's just amazing. It's an experience like no other.
When he's talked about some of the experiences and how this puts so many other things into perspective. It's given him a perspective on life that he couldn't get anyplace else, any other way. So yeah, he's gonna, and we talked about this before he left, that this would be a life-altering experience. Absolutely.
Jared will probably have to deploy one more time to Iraq during his enlistment. Some of the sergeants in the platoon have spent more time in Iraq than they have in the United States. Some of these guys who join up after a year of college or straight out of high school, they'll talk about how what they know most in the world as an adult is war. One of those sergeants who's on his third tour, when I was with him, is now back in Iraq on his fourth tour, is Jason Huber. I chased him all over the village of Karma during Operation Clear Decision. Operation Clear Decision was a battalion-level operation to clear out the insurgency in Karma. The platoon I was with got tasked with from going to house to house to house to house, target houses, known insurgent safe houses, where they were going to go through and hit house after house after house and see if they could find, gather intel, and track down a couple of people that were on a target list. They had given a list of people that they needed to find. Like most operations, we rolled out the gate at 0 dark 30. We really didn't know what to expect.
Karma's the big one that they've been fucking having huge problems with that they've been talking about since we hit the deck here in fucking March. All right, that's been the one city they've been throwing around. All right, the enemy activity there is fucking huge. OP2, not our OP2, but where Camp Delta is, right inside of Karma, where 3-8 is located at, got fucking ambushed last night with RPGs and AK-47s. All right, they know we're there. They have a good idea what's coming, and they're going to try to exploit the fact that we're going to be there. So the likelihood of contact, and this comes down from division, is fucking contact. Enemy contact is imminent for this mission.
Hey JD, you good on rounds? Got enough rounds?
I got enough tank.
Fucking
power line. How we doing, Vengeance? Hey, take heed what Lieutenant Gilman said. Hit it right on the mark. This operation is probably going to be the biggest operation we do for our 7 months out here. And I fully expect you guys are going to get hit. All right? Somebody's going to get hit. Like the dog in the corner. Good analogy. He wants the fuck out. And he's going to do whatever he can to get out because he's desperate. So be focused. Let's bring everybody back. All right? And just take care of yourselves, all right? Anybody got any questions? All right, go get them, Vengeance.
We had a list of target houses that were not inside Karma, but outside of it, like kind of in the suburbs of where the key insurgent leaders lived. And it was kind of our job to go around and try and find these guys, track them down and find them.
All right, that's the house to our left. Roger. All right, you stop right here. Go.
We got intel that there was the sheik, one of the lead sheiks for the insurgency was there. Now most of these guys, when they roll around, it's my understanding that they roll around with a bodyguard, a bodyguard or two. So I told my guys, I was like, hey, look, if he's still here, he's probably got a little entourage with him because these guys are high up. They're religious leaders. They roll pretty deep. So if there's ever going to be somebody in the house, that's probably the one where they're gonna have somebody waiting to put one in somebody. So I told them, be more alert on this one. Be ready. If you gotta take a shot, this will probably be when it's gonna happen.
Friendly coming in.
I mean, I've done this a lot. I've been doing this for a while, and I still get tunnel vision. You go in, all you see is what's in front of you. What's to the sides of you, you don't see it. All you see is when your weapon's up, all you see is what's over your weapon and to your direct front. So pretty much it's like looking through a camera lens. That's pretty much what we see.
Okay, we got public storage. Go out, lean out the roof.
So we rolled up, we got permission to come in, we're gonna roll this guy up. So we rolled through and cleared the house, and then we did a real detailed search. We found a bunch of, it looked to be a forger, like someone here makes false IDs. From the looks of a lot of stuff we found a lot of photocopies of IDs, a bunch of ID pictures, a bunch of half-finished IDs. We found an AK-47 and 5 magazines. After 2 more were already confiscated earlier. So that's pretty much what we got right now. We're waiting on our interpreter to come so we can question the individuals. There's 4 or 5 males that we caught here. So we're going to question them, question the females, question the kids. The kids generally give you the best info and find out what we got, see if we can't find this guy. I have a feeling that when he saw us rolling up, if he was here, he burned out one of the houses around here. And because we didn't have enough vehicles to cordon off the whole entire area, he's probably gone by now. So, at least now we'll have a picture of the guy. I don't think we had a picture before. But we're definitely getting closer because now we're rolling up his family. So once you find a man's family, you don't have much farther to go before you finally find who he is. So that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Every time the Marines would detain someone in Iraq, they had to fill out an arrest report to give to the military prosecutors and then to the civilian prosecutors.
We hit it like it was different than we normally do it. We would load up in a high back and we just roll right up to the house, jump out, and storm the house. Kind of like how a SWAT team does things. That was kind of where we got it from. You know, just go house to house to house to house looking for things, or hit a house, load up, drink some water, maybe grab a bite to chow, you know, if you're hungry or whatever, and then we'll go hit the next one. You know, it was just boom, boom, boom. Because we had to do it that way because the insurgents have very good intel. They know when a big operation's coming, and they generally know the vicinity where it's going to happen. So all the bad guys there, they're gone before we ever get there. But so we had to hit it real quick. We had to get it done as fast as possible in order to catch them before they flee. If, you know, they were moving slow or, you know, decided to take their time for whatever reason. And we nabbed some of them, you know.
No, never mind.
Well, the biggest thing is, you know, adrenaline flows and you want to go fast, and it's the same thing in training. You know, when you start clearing rooms, you start to get so good at it, and they just flow one into another. And if you really don't force yourself to slow down and take your time, you're going to run. And when you run, especially when you're stacked up on a door, you need to have positive control of the Marine in front of you. It doesn't always happen, but you got to be real close so there's no gaps. When you develop gaps, when you have a gap between your people, you have a gap in your coverage. So when you come in a room and the first guy goes left and there's a gap, now there could be a guy in the corner to his right, and now he's going to get shot because his buddy wasn't close enough to cover his right as soon as he should have. You know, and also when we're going house to house, I don't want anyone being hung out to dry. If the lead guy starts taking off running and I'm not there, somebody's not there yelling at him, hey, slow down, we got to consolidate, we need to stay together, then basically he's hanging himself out to dry, you know. Or if he starts running and the guy behind him is like, oh shit, you know, I got to catch up, so he starts running, then the third guy starts running, then we're all strung out and everybody's hung out to dry. And then if we take contact at that point, we're pretty much fucked because we won't be able to establish a very good base of fire. You know, everybody's strung out. I don't know where all my people are, so I don't know if I'm shooting your bad guy or if it's friendly fire, you know, and it just causes a lot of problems. It's a lot easier on my end and for my team leaders' end for command and control if everybody is together. You know, the closer we are and I can keep positive control on everybody, then I know where my people are, you know, I know what I got, and also I can control things better. I can control the flow better. I think a lot of it is attitude with that. I mean, training plays a big part, but again, most of these units that get hit hard, they don't go out there and aggressively pursue the enemy. You know, they don't go out there and take more risks. It's kind of weird in that sense. Like, you have to take more risks to make yourself safer. It's weird, you know, but that's what we found. We were so aggressive that, like I said, we couldn't pay these guys to shoot at us. The only thing they would do is hit us with IEDs. That's it. And even then, they kind of held off on that, you know, unless they knew they were going to get away, because we would always find them.
Now stay, hold what you got. We need a swim sack.
And I think that was the key that brought everybody back, you know, because I've seen other units before that don't go out and don't aggressively pursue things because they're scared, and they get hit hard. You know, the enemy is perceptive. He's smart. You know, he knows what he's doing, and they're gonna pick the weak ones to pick on, and they do, and those are the ones that get hit hard. You know, I mean, ultimately, it's really, I mean, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. You know, but I think in the long run, we didn't get hit a lot of times when probably they wanted to hit somebody because they knew how we were and how aggressive we were, you know, and I think that was the deciding factor that brought everybody home. Yeah, this was my third time. I'm actually signing up for a fourth time. I'm getting ready to go back again. Life's easy over there, you know. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like, you know, I told my mom, she's like, you need to find a new hobby. You know, she's not happy that I'm going back. I don't know. I'm looking for something. I haven't found it yet. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'll find it on this time. Who knows? You know.
But you were going to get out.
Yeah, I was going to get out. That's actually why they sent me back early. I missed like the last month of operations because IEAS actually, and today's the 11th, IEAS on the 28th, which is what, 17 days? Yeah. Yeah. That's 17 days left, and now I'm gonna get all the paperwork together and go back one last time. I gotta go back, you know, it's a good time. You know, life's easy over there. Plus, you know, like I said, you get to do what you train to do. That's what I like the most. That's what I like the most. You know, I enjoy doing this. It's just I don't like all the stupid stuff that we do. You know, but when I'm actually out there doing my job, that's the best. You know, that's feelings like you'll never feel ever doing anything else. You know, I don't know. Like my friends are like, dude, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, you know, I just like what I do. You know, going to combat and things like that, and always wanted to experience it. And now that I have, I love it. You know, it is awesome. Freedom is something you have to fight for on a day-to-day basis. You know, and I think that's why I joined. I wanted to see combat. I wanted to go kill the bad guys, you know, but I wanted to fight for that because I understand that, you know. I think I'm one of the few that does. You know, most kids nowadays are like, you see it even in the infantry, active duty Marine Corps infantry, you know, they're like, man, you're going to Iraq. They're like, man, I didn't sign up for this. Look at him like, what did you sign up for? You know, the #1 purpose of the military is to fight wars. That's it. No matter what your job is, that's what you do, you know. And kids today don't. It's like they're disillusioned or something, you know. It's like they don't really understand that, you know. They're like, man, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, there's no draft. Nobody forced you to be here. It's like, what are you doing, you know? And that always pissed me off. And I was not going to be one of those kids, you know. So I joined up, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to go out and go kill some bad guys, you know. It'll be a good time, you know.
Jason Huber and some of the other 3-tour Marines would talk about how war was all they know. They would join at 20. After a year or two of college, it was very common. Most of them joined up out of college. One of the older ones, 20-year veteran, Staff Sergeant Brad Pollock, who had been in Desert Storm and Desert Shield and was coming back again. Brad Pollock had been in the IRR, but came back to active service to go for this deployment.
But tonight presented another problem, is that there's a gas station about a click that way up on the left on the north side of the road that for some reason, I don't know, it's been shut down for the last couple of days. It must be reopening tomorrow morning. I don't know, who knows, maybe the Iraqis celebrate Labor Day, who knows. And they've got a line of vehicles lined up that goes almost a mile, probably 150 trucks and cars at this point. The problem is that line of cars, they could take IEDs and just dig them all on the side of the road, and we have no control over it. This Silver One, go ahead.
Roger. What we need you to do is go ahead and make your way through the line of vehicles, doing tertiary inspections of them, pull them out and question them. We are not dispersing the traffic, though. How copy?
Okay, roger that. We're going to make our way down there right now and check it out. Park the vehicles, and then they'll come back in the morning and get fuel. So technically, most of them are not violating curfew. The problem is, maybe one of these is a V-bed, but I doubt it. But again, there's the whole, there's certain inherent risk in this job. In 1986, when I first joined the Marine Corps, when I first was there, and right now I'm in 19 years in the Marine Corps. So if you go to 86 and you back off 19 years, you're at, and so those, so the guys that would have been PFCs and Lance Corporals in Vietnam in the 67, 68, 69, 70, if they stayed in 10 or 15 years, they were staff sergeants and gunnies in 1986. And Vietnam seems like an entire, for most of these kids, Vietnam is, and even for me, it seems about as far away as World War II, but it's really not that far, long gone. And a lot of the lessons that I can remember them talking about is the exact kind of stuff that we're dealing with now.
How are you? Good?
Well, when I was younger, as a Lance Corporal PFC, I learned from a lot of my platoon sergeants, and the people over me were all Vietnam vets, so I learned a lot about just situational awareness, how to act in combat, how to prepare for combat. And then I learned a little bit of my own in Desert Storm, and then I wanted to make sure that I passed on that knowledge to some of the younger Marines. And here I am 20 years later, and hopefully I have passed on a little bit of it. Every war is different, every place is different, but there's some things that are always the same. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. How you guys doing?
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. Got a lot of the Marines keep asking me these stupid questions like, well, when are we gonna really see some action? And I keep telling them, you know, be careful what you wish for. You really don't want that. Oh yeah, yeah. And I'll come back again if I have to. Don't like being over here. Don't like being away from my wife and my family, but better for them to attack us here than attack us at home.
Staff Sergeant Pollock is a civil engineer by education, and I was in his Humvee on the last day of the last mission, Operation Final Countdown. Now, when a mission is named Operation Final Countdown, you have a pretty good idea something bad is about to happen.
Where?
Last truck.
Hold it. Blue one. We just took an ID in the last truck. Get in. Get me back there. Get me back there. Get me back there. Get in. Blue one, this is silver one. I'm going to go back and see what's going on. Silver 3, silver 1. Silver 3, this is silver 1. How's 4 doing? Two, get out and get security on that fucking refueler now. I want security on that refueler.
We got hit with an IED on the last day of the last mission. At night, under full moon, the Marines sat watching target locations. During the day, they conducted a detailed census with their Iraqi interpreter, Ali. A group of American kids sent the platoon boxes of toys to give Iraqi kids. It was looking like a pretty boring mission until the platoon had to escort a refueling truck through Karma.
Where?
Last truck.
Hold it. Blue one. We just took an ID in the last truck.
We were just driving along, totally blindsided. It went off. I slammed up into the driver's side door, and then it was just the whole inside of the truck was filled with sand and explosive powder, black smoke and everything.
Silver 3, silver 1. Silver 3, this is silver 1.
It's not like getting rocked, all in one spot. It's just like massive all over you, because even the part of your body that's not exposed is still getting hit. Inside the truck and everything. It's just like a big brick wall just blowing at you.
I want security on that refueler.
I knew I was bleeding a lot, but I didn't. I think by that time I could tell it wasn't anything serious. I think that part already went past. When I initially got hit and I saw that blood, I was thinking the worst. I'm thinking, how am I still alive? What's going on here?
Go around to the right. Pass you on your left side, 3.
From what I remember is my door flung open, and when my eyes opened, I was looking down at the ground in between the seat and the comm mount, and I got out and walked around the truck. From there, I seen the door. What had happened with in between the two doors had pushed in, and the door was actually laying on top of Ali.
All right. Hey, Rocky, I want a good fucking sweep of everything around here, man.
Sergeant Dalrymple had been hit with IEDs on 2 previous occasions.
First time, April 10th, seen this tire, seen the IED, didn't see the actual, the bomb, whatever it was. I didn't see it. I seen the tire set up, how it was set up, and I leaned over to the right a little bit, or the left a little bit, because I was going to tell my gunner, Case, to look at it a little closer. And as soon as I looked over to the left, that's when it went off, July 19th. We was just driving through, and That's another one. They buried it too deep, so we wouldn't have seen it anyway. They buried it, just driving by. It goes off, and shock came over on that one. Everybody just kind of stopped what they was doing in the truck and looked at each other.
Hassan Dallas is just bad luck. He's just a bad luck dude. That he'd already been hit 2 times before that. So, and then, you know, you got that, plus throw the black man in there, so you know something's getting ready to happen. So, yeah, we have been joking about that all day. Right before it happened, we were just joking about getting blown up. So, you know, it wasn't too funny after it happened, though.
Hey, Rocky, I want a good fucking sweep of everything around here, man. Got it.
We saw that our interpreter had been injured. I thought he was dead at first. Just the way he was looking, he was sprawled out across the back seat. The door, the right rear door of the seat that he was sitting in was laying on top of him. And he just wasn't conscious at all. I called his name a few times before I climbed out. He wasn't responding. I thought he was dead. So we climbed out. Kept calling his name, then he started to talk. He came to, he started talking, and we knew we had to get him out of there. And Chris observed, you know, that the vehicle was leaking fuel, and then that it was on fire. So I went around the other side of the vehicle to see if we could try to pull him out from that side, because I knew the door was pretty much gonna be real hard to move. And then when I got to the other side, I saw that his legs were crunched up under the seat, crunched up under the door. So I knew I couldn't pull him out from that side. I came back around on the other side, asked for a few Marines to come over there to help me out, try to get the door off. Staff Sergeant Pollack came over, we started working with the door, and the door wasn't budging, you know. Then the interpreter, he started screaming because the fire was growing the whole time. More oxygen was getting to it. So he was screaming for, you know, that it was hot. He was hot, 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 you know. Fire, hot, I'm burning. And all of a sudden, we just grabbed the door. The door went flying. 250-pound plus door just got thrown like rag doll. You know, then pulled him out. Lance Corporal Christopher, Staff Sergeant Pollack, they put a tourniquet on. Staff Sergeant was working on his leg. I was working on his leg had been severed below his knee. All that down had been completely cut off by the door. And he also had 3 fingers on his right hand missing. So Lance Corporal Christopher was working on his arm. He put a tourniquet on his arm. I was putting some quick clot on his arm, trying to stop the bleeding. Staff Sergeant Pollack did the same thing with his leg, and I was just working on field dressings, trying to keep as much of the leg together as I possibly could. And once we got him all stabilized, we put him on a Polish litter, and he went away on a medevac, along with Sergeant Dalrymple and Lance Corporal Christopher. I stayed behind.
We're gonna go clockwise. Hit that home, that home, that home, that home, that home, that rubble, and that home right there. We're also gonna search in the weeds right there. If it's anything, they're probably gone already, but we're gonna check and see. You see any cell phones or anything, collect them up. Don't destroy them, collect them up. Check?
Check.
Roger.
Get up in there, get up in there.
Shoulder that bitch. I got it. One more time.
Yeah! What?
Can you get through there?
Hey, there might be somebody out there!
Knew I wasn't leaving this country without getting blown up.
It's part of my job. I knew the risk coming over here. I knew the job risk signing up. It's my job. I got my job to do just like everybody else. And then if you don't, if you show you're scared of them, then they've won. And I'm not scared of them. And I'm not going to let them win a mind battle over me.
I rode right by the IED that hit Dalrymple, McClung, Christopher, and Ali. I got it on tape. It's just a discolored patch of dirt. I was sitting in the exact seat Ali was sitting in. I tell myself, if the Humvee I was in had gotten hit with an IED, we would have been fine, because it's from the factory up armor and can take a huge hit. I would have walked out of the Humvee with a concussion, my ears ringing, and gotten the blast, a big blast on camera. It would have been great. That's what I tell myself. And with that, the deployment was over. We just packed up and flew home. A lot of the guys were probably just as nervous about flying home as they were about flying to Iraq. They'd been out of the world for 7 months. The world had passed them by and gone on without them. They didn't know what had changed. They didn't know how much they had changed.
And returning the favor for serving our country so well. We'll get you home in 9 hours and 4 minutes. You'll be back at Cherry Point, USA. And we hope you have a comfortable and enjoyable flight. Thanks again for your great service to our country. We'll be on our way shortly. Thanks again, Marine.
After being in Iraq, you are always waiting for the second shoe to drop. And a lot of the guys didn't think it was real, didn't think that going home was real, until we were rolling down the runway in Kuwait and the plane lifts off.
Yeah. Yes. I like this part. I love this part.
Hey, fellas, if I didn't shake your hand, I want you to know that I'm glad you're home, and I wish that we had received this kind of when we came back to Vietnam. But you guys did a hell of a job, and you deserve what you got. Thank you, sir. Yeah! Stick it.
I know they got all this fucking
Welcome home, Tony. That's me. And Ian and Brian.